Alright YouTube, before this tutorial I got a quick little intro. I'd like to shout out my man Judd right here. I started cutting hair, he was my first client, neighbor, stuck with me ever since, and now he's in the shop. We about to do a quick little light up on him with a fade. Got something to say?
Yeah man, the way we started actually was his boys made fun of me when we were in high school. I had the ugliest cuts and then he offered to cut my hair, and obviously it was a great thing for me and for him because he was just starting to cut hair, and then he offered it for free, so it was a good price for me. Man, we've been through a lot. He used to cut me at school, in the bathroom, and then one day he fucked up my hair in the beginning. On Valentine's Day, man, I couldn't get no girl because of him. The girl I liked didn't even say hi to me, and then I'll put a little picture right here, and then
actually go down, right there.
Right there. Right there. Put a little picture right there, and then over time he's improved, man, and I always support my brothers, man, and he's just killing the game right now. He's one of the upcoming barbers, man. I'm truly happy for him.
Alright, so it was only right that I did my first tutorial on him, so let's go. First off, we're going to start by taking the top down with a number 3 against the grain. Going against the grain is going to assure us that the canvas is clean and that the hair is properly cut. Make sure that your strokes are consistent and that you're hitting every direction that the hair grows in. As you can see, I'm going from sides to front to back. I'm making sure that I'm getting everything. Make sure to comb or brush your canvas. We need to keep it clean and see what we're doing, and having a whole bunch of debris in the way is not going to help you. As you can see right here, I'm tilting the clipper over because his hair is growing in multiple different directions and I'm trying to get all of it. So again, we're trying to be real consistent. We don't want to create more work for ourselves by making dark spots and shadows. Right here I slapped the 1.5 guard on, and we're closed going all the way up to the parietal ridge. The parietal ridge is when the head starts curving down, so just flicker up. You don't want to go into it, you want to go off of it. At this point we're fading down. We really don't want to create no lines. We're really just debulking, cleaning our canvas to make sure that we see everything, so that when we start fading, everything is already set up. I'm opening and closing the lever, making sure that there's no shadows so that we can go on to the next step. Again, we're combing, making sure that the canvas is clean. As you can see, I'm indicating where the parietal ridge is situated on his head. It curves down towards the back, so the fade is going to take that form. Right on top of the parietal ridge is the curve of the head that connects to the top of the head. To debulk this section, we're going to take the 1.5 with the grain. The 1.5 wasn't effective enough, so we're taking our number 2, opening and closing, making sure that we're connecting the round of the head to the top of the head. Picking up where we left off, we're slapping our number 1 guard all the way open, and we're going to go all the way up to the parietal ridge. As we're making our way down, we're going to close the lever, making sure that everything is consistent. This is the last guard that we're going to use for the prep up. I'd like to finish off by going with the grain, laying the hair down so that everything is nice and consistent to hit the lineup. Over here, we're taking the hair down to a number 1.5, only on the fringe. Earlier, we took the hair down to a number 3, and that created a bit of overhanging hair on the lineup. Laying that hair down with the 1.5 is going to assure us that we're going to have a crispy lineup. When lining up, it's important to start from the middle and to work your way out to the sides. For stability, you can rest 2 fingers on your canvas's head. Make sure that you're not applying too much pressure. The lineup is the most important part of a haircut. You can have a decent fade with a crispy lineup and it'll look a lot better than having a crazy super detailed fade and then your lineup is crooked. It's gonna throw everything off, I promise. That being said, take your time on your lineup. Look at the mirror constantly. The mirror will never lie to you. The objective is to keep the lineup as natural as possible. You do not want to push it back. Some clients may have different type of head shapes that may force you to do cosmetic work. Minor pushbacks are alright as long as you know what you're doing. As you can see, I'm mapping out how I'm going to line it up. The corners are the most important part of the lineup. It's going to dictate if your lineup is crooked and if it's going to look disproportionate. The lineup contains 4 corners. The corners on the front lineup and the corners on the arch. You don't need to focus at making this line the sharpest line ever, because regardless, we're going to go back on it with the blade, and we do not want to create too much irritation on the skin. Again, make sure to look at your mirror, ensuring that all the angles are proper. I'm spotting the elongate hairs and then I'm going ahead and lining it up as natural as possible. To finish off the lineup, we're going to go ahead and hit it with a straight razor. And just like the trimmer, we're going to start in the middle and work our way out to the sides. The most important part of using the straight razor is to pull the skin. Make sure that you're applying enough tension so that the skin is properly stretched out, but not too much to make your client uncomfortable. As you can see on this clip, I'm using the backhand motion. I'm sorry for the horrible angle, but we're gonna get better at it. Now that our lineup is framed up, we're gonna go ahead and start the fade. Since this is a bald mid fade, we're gonna go ahead and establish our guideline in between the parietal ridge and the top of the ear. You want to set up your guideline as clean as possible, because the cleaner your guideline is, the cleaner your fade is going to come out. And since we're following the parietal ridge, we're going to drop that guideline all the way to the back, making sure that we're being consistent. For video purposes, we will be fading one side in detail and then we'll be fast forwarding the other side. We're going to go ahead and bald them out with the Babyliss FXs. This is a great shaver. I recommend it to everybody. We're not going to go all the way up to the guideline with the shaver. We want to give us a little juice so that we can take the line off with the trimmers. When getting near that guideline, make sure to use the corner of that shaver so that we don't create no harsh line. Now to start the fading, we're going to go up 1/2 inch with the blade all the way open. You want to remain consistent, making sure that we're cutting the hair at the same length all the way through. Make sure to flick out when you're reaching the top of that guideline. We do not want to create more work for ourselves. With the comb, I'm indicating the 3 sections that we will be fading out. Each of these sections will have the same length, which would be 1/2 inch. If you don't know what 1/2 inch looks like, it's about the width of your finger. Make sure to follow the guideline that we established that is parallel to the parietal ridge. Right under that blade open, we're going to follow with the blade halfway open. And to completely erase that line, we're going to go with the blade all the way closed. As you can see, I'm using the corners of the blade and I'm really trying to finesse this fade in. Using the same system, we're going to slap our zero guard on and attack the second panel. Still going up 1/2 inch, we're going to remain consistent and follow our guideline. With the opposite hand, you can stretch the skin out to make sure that your surface is flat. Right under the zero guard open, we're going to go ahead and close it halfway and repeat the same process. We can really start seeing the fade coming together. You can really start seeing the fade coming together with that zero guard. We're going to go ahead and close that zero guard, going right under where we left off. And this should leave us with a fade looking pretty decent. You can go ahead and open and close the lever to your liking, making sure that there's no dark spots. To conclude our fading system, we're going to go ahead and slap the one guard all the way open and go all the way up to the parietal ridge. Initially, we set up our guideline with a 1.5 all the way up to the parietal ridge, so this should connect everything together. As you can see, I'm moving the head in different angles to make sure that the fade is blurry and even on all levels. With the one guard all the way closed, we're going to go ahead and take out this shadow that's bothering me and not showing on the screen. From that point on, the fade is practically done. All you gotta do is detail and polish your cut. Detailing is probably the most important part of a fade. It's what's gonna determine if your fade is average or if your fade is really off the chain. Big shout out to my man, Young Kartz. He came with the beat on fire. All the links will be in the description down below. So this is it for this side. We're gonna go ahead and fast forward the other side since I gave you all the steps. Pay attention to how I'm moving and what I'm doing. I want to take a special moment to say thank you for everybody watching, everybody commenting, subscribing. I appreciate the love. If we can get this video to 25 likes, I'm gonna drop a new tutorial, new haircut, all of that. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe. This goes a long way. It's Berkazo signing off. Chill.